Hey, what's up, y'all? So, Jason Whitlock, he decided to expose Skip Bayless. Let's watch his clip, then I'm gonna come back with my commentary.
The Skip Bayless era in sports talk TV is coming to an unceremonious end. Skip Bayless, it's been reported in recent weeks, they've been drawing 50,000 viewers to Undisputed. 50,000 viewers on average for the latest iteration of Undisputed. That's Skip Bayless along with Keyshawn Johnson and Richard Sherman and your guy, the playmaker, Michael Irvin. It just isn't working the way that it used to. Most people will attribute this to the departure of Shannon Sharpe. I have a slightly different narrative. If you actually go back and look at what's been going on with Undisputed ratings for when I left in 2020. So I would say since about 2019, the growth of that show had actually come to a screeching halt. I could show you numbers in 2019, 2020, where they were backing up and not growing when everything else on FS1 was growing. They were showing no growth. It had already gotten stale. Shannon Sharpe allowed it to survive for a time being. It allowed it to remain relevant, but in terms of actual TV ratings, the growth wasn't there. It was stale for 4 or 5 years in a row. Once Shannon Sharpe exits, then all the air is let out of the balloon and it starts crashing. And so Sharpe leaving clearly damaged Undisputed. But my contention is, and I don't say this trying to be hyper negative or embarrass Skip Bayless, it's just factual. The Skip Bayless era has been over for a solid 5 years. Solid 5 years. People were having this conversation years ago at FS1, like, hey, this isn't working, this thing isn't growing. And it's always been my contention that debate, the whole debate TV era, was about, hey, we don't have any real talent, and so we'll just argue with each other. And people will just pick a side and argue with each other because the actual hosts don't have any talent. And so debate was the replacement for talent. Talk TV has always been about a talented host. And Shannon Sharpe is a talented host, whether I like him or not. Stephen A. Smith has some talent as a host and as a personality, not as much as Shannon Sharpe, not as much as he thinks he has. But the whole embrace debate era has been dead for 5 years. Stephen A. pivoted away from that, and that's why they have the assortment of guests that come on his show, and it's not built around just two guys. Hey, we got opposite opinions on everything. Skip Bayless, and I'm not trying to, it was great what he did with debate, but he's never been a talented television host. Period. End of story. And now he's getting exposed in this YouTube era. I think it's over, and Fox Sports has some real serious decisions to make. Your thoughts?
In terms of why Skip Bayless and that show is struggling, obviously Shannon Sharpe is key. He was vital. But I also think it's the environment. We are now into the new media / YouTube era of the media and entertainment field. And when you have entities like Mace, who has a show that seems to be doing pretty good numbers, Gilbert Arenas. Then you have other networks like dreamerspro and Scap Attack, our guy. There's a lot more choices. And I think it's a totally different field. And Jason, I find myself watching short vignettes and bits and pieces of shows, but I don't know how many times I'm actually sitting down for an hour and a half to 2 hours to watch any program on television at this moment.
When Cat Williams sits down to do an interview, or someone interesting sits down to do an interview, when Joe Rogan sits down and interviews anybody, people are watching. And again, this is why I got to be careful, because I'm trying not to come across with an I told you so, but it is an I told you so. Because I kept saying when I was involved, like, hey, this whole debate thing is dead. And so go look at Shannon Sharpe. He's got Club Shay. What is that? Is that a debate, or is it a long form conversation, interview conversation? Shannon asks questions, guests say interesting thing. What is Nightcap? Are he and Ocho debating everything, or is it two likable guys with a smile on their face that are sharing stories and sharing insight and having an authentic conversation with each other? I'm sure the same thing's going on with Mace and Cameron. And so this whole gimmick of debate. It was always a gimmick. If you go look, and I was saying this in real time, like Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon have actual rapport and chemistry and a friendship and a relationship that's rich, and they have a conversation every day on Pardon the Interruption. It's not a debate show. And I said, but what TV, what ESPN and Jamie Horowitz decided was like, hey, well, Tony and Mike, they got actual talent and they have an actual relationship. But you know what? We can replace that talent and a relationship and just have two guys argue, and it's a train wreck, and people will tune in to see the train wreck. And now that they've been exposed to better conversation and people with talent, because I'll say it again, Shannon Sharpe has actual talent, and he and Ocho, again, are like the new version of Tony and Mike, and Club Shay is like the new version of Arsenio Hall. You're actually seeing what real talent does in the television or YouTube space. Skip Bayless, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but he seems so inauthentic. Gold chain. I'm best friends with a rapper who's 30 years younger than me. I'm wearing Air Jordan shoes. I'm a 70-something-year-old white guy pretending to be a 35-year-old black guy. It just doesn't work.
Hey, what's up, yo? So that was Jason Whitlock. He decided to expose Skip Bayless, and he's saying that Skip Bayless has no talent and that Shannon Sharpe, he's the one who has all the talent and he has the charisma. And he's saying that after Shannon Sharpe left Skip Bayless, that's when the show started to tank. Because when Shannon was there, they used to get millions of views every episode. But right now, they're only getting 50K viewers per episode. And he's also saying that it was a gimmick. The debate show, it was just a gimmick and it was not real. You can see that. And now it's been exposed. And Jason Whitlock, he's trying to say that I still like Skip Bayless, but I gotta be honest. But I think that deep inside, I think Jason really enjoys this. And it doesn't look good for Skip Bayless right now because he tried to just fire Shannon Sharpe and just switch him out with a new host. But it didn't work because I don't know if you are aware of this, but Shannon Sharpe, he was actually fired from the show. And as you can see right now, Shannon Sharpe, he really was the one who got the last laugh because right now, he really is on a good run with all this interview that he's doing and with the show with Shadow Chacinco. And he's just, laughing right now, I guess. And make sure to like this video, subscribe, and watch next videos. I got for y'all.